The vibe around the Miami Dolphins right now feels thick, uneasy, alive in all the wrong ways. There's tension in every word spoken at press conferences, a mix of hope and disbelief. It's that strange middle ground where you can't tell if the team is on the verge of breaking through or completely unraveling. Heading into the Browns game, that energy only grows louder, heavier. You can almost hear it in the way fans talk, not angry, not defeated, just tired of waiting for the version of this team that never quite shows up when it matters. The latest assigned mailbag hit a nerve because it sounded less like a Q&A and more like a therapy session. Fans like Jeff, Jake, Colin, Richard, John, and others didn't ask polite questions. They asked the kind that come from years of bruised faith. Questions that cut close to the bone, about leadership, about effort, about whether this roster even believes in itself anymore. Jeff said it best without meaning to. He feels the issue isn't the coaching, but the mindset. That gut feeling, that sense that something in the DNA of this team just doesn't click no matter who's calling the plays or designing the schemes. And maybe he's right. Maybe that's what's so maddening about it all. He talks about how McDaniels sounds like a coach with vision, someone who gets it, who sees the bigger picture. And yet, you watch the team play and wonder, where's the adjustment? Where's the edge? It's like hearing a genius talk about art, but watching him forget to pick up the brush. The disconnect is brutal. And then you start to question everything. If the vision is clear but the team looks lost, who's really to blame? Is it the roster? The culture? The leadership at the top? Or maybe it's something harder to name, a slow erosion of belief that started long before McDaniel even arrived. That's where the mailbag takes a darker turn. The question comes up, if you're Ross, if you're sitting at the top watching this unfold, do you double down on what's here or blow it all up again? The Dolphins have been through that cycle so many times it's almost tradition. Every few years there's a new start, a new philosophy, a new identity. And yet somehow, the story never really changes. You hear the line again. Since Marino, they've been chasing a quarterback. Since Shula, they've been chasing a coach. Decades of almosts and what-ifs. It wears you down. Then there's the defense, which feels like a metaphor for the whole team. A lot of talent, not enough coherence. One fan asked if the run defense problems were tied to trying too hard to justify a first-round pick, playing Grant more even though Phillips might be better. The answer was blunt. It's not that simple. Phillips is being used differently. Grant plays more snaps. The real issue runs deeper. That line stuck out because it sums up everything wrong with the Dolphins right now. Nothing is ever that simple. Every fix seems to reveal another crack underneath. Every win comes with a warning label, and you can feel the unease spreading. The trade deadline looms, and the speculation has started. Some say a loss to Cleveland could trigger a shakeup. Maybe not a total fire sale, but movement. Chubb, Phillips, Douglas. Names that used to sound like building blocks now feel like trade chips. Not because they're bad, but because something about this mix isn't working. You can't keep waiting for chemistry that never comes. You can't build a contender on hope alone. And yet, here they are again, hoping. McDaniel's leadership has become this strange paradox. He's calm, articulate, inspiring. He says things that make sense. But football isn't philosophy. It's emotion, adjustment, grit. You can sound like a visionary and still lose, because you didn't change when the game demanded it. Fans are starting to pick up on that. They see the same mistakes repeated week after week, the same in-game patterns, the same halftime lulls. When you stop believing your team can adjust, you stop believing it can win. That's the danger. And the players, you can see it in body language sometimes. The way a receiver jogs back to the huddle. The way a defender looks down after a missed tackle. It's subtle, but it's there. It's that quiet doubt that seeps into a team when the answers never come. One of the mailbag questions even called out the rotation of certain players, like Willie Gay Jr., who's barely getting snaps. The response? Simply that the coaches don't see him as one of the best. That's cold, but it's the truth. If you're not seen as essential, you disappear. The NFL is merciless that way. And in Miami, where expectations are always higher than results, that truth cuts even deeper. Some fans want patience. Some want a clean slate. The Dolphins are stuck between those instincts. They're not bad enough to start over completely, but not good enough to make anyone feel secure. It's the worst place to live, the middle. The purgatory of professional football. You keep thinking one more draft, one more free agent, one more season will fix it. But what if it won't? What if the core isn't built right to begin with? The Browns game is going to test that theory. Not just because of what happens on the field, but because of what happens after. A loss could crack the locker room wide open. A win might keep things glued together, temporarily. But either way, the same questions linger. Are these guys truly united? Are they playing for each other? Or are they just playing out the string, pretending the noise doesn't reach them? Because you can hear it everywhere now, from the media, from fans, from within the building. Everyone's asking for answers, and no one has any. What's wild is how close they've been. That's what makes it worse. You don't get frustrated when you're hopeless. You get frustrated when you see the potential. The Dolphins have been within reach in so many games. Just one more stop, one more conversion, one more adjustment, and maybe they'd be sitting on a completely different record. That's why the word frustrating keeps coming up. It's not anger. It's disbelief. It's that feeling of watching something talented waste its own opportunity. And yet, there's still that flicker of belief. It's not gone, not completely. Maybe that's why fans can't walk away. There's still Tua and Tyreek. Still the flashes of what could be a top offense when everything clicks. Still the hope that the defense just needs one more spark, one more leader to pull it together. The question is how long that hope can survive before it turns into resignation. So what happens next? Maybe they trust the process, keep the same structure, add smarter pieces, believe McDaniel can evolve. Maybe they hit the reset button, strip it all down, and start over again. Or maybe, most likely, they do what teams like this often do, something in between. A few trades to shake the locker room, a few new voices in the staff. Enough to show action, not enough to truly transform. That's the Dolphins' way. Always almost bold enough. But none of that means anything if the players themselves don't wake up. The excuses are done. The talent is there. The opportunities keep coming. The time for explanations passed weeks ago. Now it's about response, about whether this team still has enough heart to fight through the mess. You can tell a lot about a locker room by how it reacts when everything feels heavy. Do they close ranks or fall apart? Do they play like a team with something left to prove, or like a group just waiting for the offseason? Because this next game isn't just about standings. It's about belief, about identity, about whether the Dolphins still remember who they said they wanted to be when this all started. Talk is cheap now. The press conferences, the quotes, the optimism. None of it matters unless the fight shows up on the field. You can hear the fans getting restless. They don't want speeches. They want fire. They want conviction. They want to see the coach who preaches adjustments actually make them. They want to see the players who talk unity actually show it. The difference between almost and a rival is paper thin in this league. One more good drive. One more defensive stand. One more player refusing to quit. That's all it takes. The Dolphins have the pieces. They've always had the pieces. The question is whether they'll finally stop waiting for someone else to fix it and just decide to be that team themselves. When they walk into Cleveland, it won't just be another Sunday. It'll be a reflection of who they are, of who they've pretended to be, of what they still could become if they finally stopped repeating the same mistakes. The moment is theirs, if they actually want it, because hope without fight means nothing. And right now, the Miami Dolphins are out of time to prove which one they truly have left.